All right, real quick before I ship this off, somebody saw this in a video. This motor, this is the JBL GTI motor. It usually comes with a really tall frame. They use the same motor on the 12 and the 15. It's got a very slim gap, and it uses a special coil. It's a dual gap setup. It uses two smaller coils, I think, which are probably 30 millimeter or 30, maybe 40 millimeter each. The way that I recone these, and we used to do kits and stuff like that, but they're not really popular anymore. And a couple of things that are weird is the bolt hole circle for the mounting is quite wide. Let me get that for you real quick. So of course this whole thing is made in China. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just it's going to be metric. So the bolt hole circle is 155 millimeter, and it looks like those are They look like they're M5s. Sometimes they use a standard hardware, like a number 10 by 32. I say standard, but what I really mean is imperial. Anyways, so it's a turd. It's a big old turd. It's very expensive, and it only handles about 600 watts, and it has two gaps. However, let's see, most of this is heatsink, and I think this is actually a copy of Drew's work. Drew, forgot his last name. Drew used to work at Diamond Audio and did the D9 subwoofer. Let me show you a picture of that. This is the D9. This is the 12-inch. They build the 10 and 12 and a 15. The 12 uses an odd-sized voice coil that you can pretty much only get from fixmyspeaker.com. Every time I order one, I end up selling it to someone else who wants a kit, and so I end up building kits for this, and then I never get around to building it. So, but this one uses a lot of fins because it's a Neo driver, and the fins are there to help keep the Neo cool. So, and it uses a very small slug in the center cap, and it's basically the earlier design that later was amplified by somebody like Jacob Fuller at Sundown, and they do that on the Nightshade series. They just don't put the fins on there. They don't feel like they really need them. So, but that's the D9 series. TDX is the name. It's probably like a trademark thing, and all TDX is that what they do is they take the same technology that they use to get rid of the heat on an amplifier, which is close to close contact, very close contact, and then they use silicone grease to transfer the heat. That's it. That's all the TDX is. It's not anything magic. It's just a heat transfer technique. That's it. So, and if you ever bust these out, these are glued in place. So, and then if you ever break them out, like sometimes these frames are cracked and stuff like that, and you bust them all apart, and you end up with the, oh shit, I have the magnet on its own too. Hang on. Shit. Sorry guys, I can't find it. So, if only I was more organized, I'd know where everything is. On those, I've done a couple of different retrofits, and we've made use, especially of the 15-inch, which uses a 4-inch coil, and it really moves some. It really moves some air, really moves some excursion. But anyways, the JBL version is ceramic, which means it's cheaper to make. And like I said, it's only 600 watts, and it is a pain in the butt on the terminals. I really don't like it. But for a while there, people think they're a really good woofer. And it's funny too, the marketing on it, JBL basically says that it's a sound quality woofer. That's why it doesn't handle a lot of power. So which is hilarious, because it's like, that's like saying something like a $70,000-$80,000 car doesn't move a lot because it's more quality. Like, again, that doesn't make any sense, but for some reason in audio that I guess it flies, and people really love this. But if you want to buy the parts, I sell this one. I like this one better, but there's a aluminum coil that I use as well, called the 3 HP Slim. This is the copper version, which I call the Slim Jim. Both are 60 millimeter wine height, and they both use, well, this one uses flat copper, the other one uses flat aluminum. Again, not that the shape of the wire makes any difference, just the number of turns and the wine height. So, but that fucker fits in there, and what you want to do is center it on that top gap sorry, let me show you. About there. So, and that's it. You want to set it on that top gap, and you only use one of the gaps, one of the second gaps. If the excursion happens enough for the second gap to engage, basically to quote unquote see the coil, it'll just pull down a little harder at that, and it'll extend the excursion in that bias. It's helpful. That's all. It doesn't, but it doesn't need it in order to function properly. So if you remember, I called out, I want to call him Eddie Hester, but it's, I forget his name. He's the purple HHR guy. Ed Lester, I think is his name. He does a recone, or he did a recone, this is, gosh, 10 years ago now. He did a recone video on a Dyer Brahma, and he only accounted for the top gap. He didn't account for the entire gap. So that's the inappropriate way. Like, you don't get XBL when you don't use both gaps. So, but you also don't get XBL when you use a longer coil and it acts like a regular woofer. So, and that's what we're doing here. We're just using a longer coil and using the top gap only, and it acts like a regular woofer. What do you know? So with this beefier coil too, it actually adds to the power handling. Not that, again, not that power handling is a measure of performance. It just tells you how much you can abuse it. So you can abuse it a little more than 600 watts in this setup. So, and it also, if you need like a single 2 ohm load instead of a dual 2 ohm load, just use one of the coils. You don't have to use both coils. That's an old wives' tale as well. Last thing, this is $60, $60 shipped. I don't have very many of them left. I saw the aluminum one, the same price. Those I have a shit ton, and that's what I've been using to make the W7 version, because the W7 version is, I have a bunch of those W7 coils as well that I had custom made, also dual 2, and those are the same price. So, but let's see what else. GTI sucks. JBL pretty much sucks. I think that was about it. I can give you the gap dimensions here real quick. Hang on. Okay, so it looks like the ID is 75 millimeter, and then the OD is 81 millimeter. So, and this one ends up being, I think, 79 or 79.5 on the OD. So it's a good fit. It's nice and tight. Let me show you the back. It's got that rocket ship look to it. Fancy fin-cooled butthole, you know. See that? That's what your mom gets. Your mom gets 3 fingers. Other than that, I don't really like it. But again, it's not that like I hate JL Audio. I just hate that JL Audio charges a lot. I hate that JBL charges a lot. Also, you know, this is not going in any shallow box, right? It's not going in a pickup truck. So that's the other thing I don't like. But again, they make woofers to extract the most amount of money out of you as possible. I'm not a fan of that, so I'm here to criticize. So, but let's see. Let me give you a sneak peek. Perm came by last night. Josh Perm, which is Josh Pastrana. He used to do a lot of audio stuff in Alaska, and he dropped off 2 LMS 5400 motors, which is the quad stack version, and he wanted me to build them out as 15s using the just generic gray from Lord of Bass. Let's see what else. He brought me coils, which I think I supplied these. These are the 5200 coils that I had made up. Very beefy, very nice. True 8-layer, especially when you wire them in series. If you wire them in parallel, it's just a 4-layer. Again, that's still more than most, because most use a bifiliar coil, and when you wire those in parallel, you get 2 layers. See that? So you want to get that BL, and as the 5200, which is a triple stack version, the BL factor on them was like 480 Newton meters at 1 watt, which is insane. So, and I'll post the link to the TC Sounds page on the archive, archive.org, and you can poke around there and just sort of compare some of the numbers. So the LMS Ultra with the LMS coil, it only had a BL factor of, I think, 180 Newton meters. And to compare that, the 3HP in all its forms has 140 nanometers of force, which is just a triple stack 3-inch. And then you go, well, what about the Neo? Well, the Neo had 210. So why I memorized those, I don't know. I just absorb all that information. So, but one of the cool things that Josh brought was these guys, which I had. Did I buy them? Yeah, I bought these directly from the factory. And this one comes with a 3-inch adapter. This one is for sale. I don't like using them. Again, one of the things that I'm doing with Mac, Modular Audio Concepts and Kinetics, MACK, is I like the look of aluminum. And so what we want to do is do a very stiff, strong pressed paper cone, and then we'll do aluminum cap, not an aluminum cone. One of the problems is shimming this up and also getting this to adhere and do it properly. It's very labor intensive and it requires a lot of skill and practice, which I do have, but I'd rather not. That's all. So, and these are the 15-inch cones. These ones actually say TC.O.Z laser engraved in there. And these are for sale. I think we're going to do these for $120 each shipped, and they come with your choice of either 3-inch or 4-inch adapter. And then this one I think is I'll do this one for $90. So this one's $90 shipped with, I only have 3-inch adapter for this one. So just so you know. But those are up for sale. And then of course I have a bunch of coils and stuff like that all the time. I don't have time to list them in a website. Sorry. I don't have any helpers. I need helpers. I need money. What I really need is a vacation and a hand job. So hashtag handy's not hate. But, oh, I went to the bank today. I got the bank account set up for Blackjack Audio, which is good. And so then I can start importing stuff under the Blackjack Audio LLC, which is good. Helps me save a little bit more money. Alibaba has been cracking down on people like me who have figured out a way to, not that I don't pay taxes, I pay all the tariffs that are imposed on me, but the municipalities are forcing many, or not, I don't want to say forcing, encouraging many large retailers, even though Alibaba is not a retailer, but they do a lot of volume. So, but they've encouraged Amazon and Walmart and people like that to start collecting sales tax, even though that's illegal. There's no agreement for that. There's no cause for that. They will quote a Supreme Court case, which again, still does not, it's what they're doing is, it's the way they're interpreting it. It's, which again is still up for debate. And by the time everything is done, we're going to go back to the Supreme Court and argue about it again. So, but you got to understand the benefits of what they're doing, which is that Amazon now collects sales tax on the behalf of the municipalities. However, it makes the municipalities work for it in order to give it up. So, but what happens is Amazon's able to collect that sales tax, that free money, and then hang on to it until the municipalities come after it. See that? So they get to hang on to that money that's float. They get to float that cash and basically use it and collect interest on it, and maybe even do like Forex exchanges on it, and Forex investing or whatever, or Bitcoin or whatever you want to do. And they get all that money for free. See? And so big companies like Amazon and Walmart love that. And municipalities love it because they get free money that they're not entitled to. So they did not earn that money. They did not do anything for that money. And now they are in bed with these big corporations that collect it for them. So it's like one hand washes the other. It's super evil, but that's the way of the world right now. So just like if you don't want your kids molested, fucking keep an eye on them. That's so stupid. There's so many child molesters. Well, fucking leave your family members who are creepy. Don't leave them alone with your kids, idiots. I think that's what I wanted to say. Oh, I have Josh brought a, I see this one and I get inspired. This is a thick top plate triple stack. As you can see though, it's countersunk. So I want to make this one and then experiment with it to see if it's going to like a long coil or a short coil. I'd rather put a long coil in there, but there's limits to what that means, because if you go too long, it's going to bottom out. If you go too short, it's going to jump the gap because it's a very powerful motor. We learned that on the Cylon. for a while there, we were using the concept coils, which is this guy, and they were jumping the gap. So we had to go with a long coil, and then I finally got those 80 millimeters, and those things are fucking great. So there it is. Also for sale, that one takes the 8-layer copper coil, which Josh helped me, which is this fucker. I did a whole video on this. It's very heavy. It's really, really great for home theater. And Concept built them as quad 2 ohm or quad 1 ohm. These are quad 2 ohm. And there you go. The short former on them, though, only allows for typically use with the 4-spoke frame or in the 18 6-spoke frame, which is the 689 frame. It's a style. It's a style that that's the part number for China. But anyways, those are for sale. And I also have the Armageddon. I have a 3-inch Armageddon and a 4-inch Armageddon if anybody's interested in those. So some of these sit around here and then I forget to talk about them or post about them. So there's the 4-inch one. And it says Armageddon on the back. And then I have a 3-inch one that I've been using as a jig. Where's it at? Anyways, I have it available. It's basically like a beefy version of the TC9 Plus, like the Sunfire motor, which is called the TC11. Anyways, I still got time to make some orders shipped today, so I'll be doing that. What else? I don't know. It's Friday. It's finally cooling down here in Arizona. It's not triple digits, but it's still kind of warm and muggy right now. I think that was it. Oh, I want to try to build a recone kit for the W6 the way it is, and then just do something different for the terminals. That's really the only thing I don't like on that is the spider, super floppy, and doesn't have sewn leads, attached leads. And so you may have to just do a direct connect on that. But otherwise, it's just a 600, 700 watt woofer. It's certainly not worth $800. But, oh, that's what I wanted to show you. I don't want to turn around too quick. It was the, I don't know where it's at. There was another one that I made. We shipped it and then I don't know if it got stolen or if it got lost or whatever. But this is the version 3 W6. I happen to have this one left over to use as in the library. And then this is the setup that I do. I modify this frame, which we got from Concept. And you see on a bunch of older woofers. It's basically a 7.5-inch spider with the W6 coil. And then I use the 5 Series cone. And then I'm going to do a concave poly cap and then put the JL sticker on it. So that's actually going out Monday. So I got to make sure I test it and all that kind of stuff. We did find the vendor or a vendor that makes coils. It's probably the vendor that makes the coils for the W6. And then we're going to get a different version made for us that has opposing leads where they're 180 degrees on each side because I like to terminate this way. I don't like to use JL's stupid termination way or whatever where they have all the leads on the same side. So but I don't know, there's always so much information here at the Robot Underground. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Hang in there and also watch my older videos, dude. There's a lot of really good information in there that sometimes I'll get somebody that'll email me and I'm like, I've already talked about that information. So, and I get a little disappointed in you that you have not watched that information. So I understand that I don't pick the sexiest or most accurate or most relevant thumbnails, but that's part of the gig. I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not going to give away free shit just to get views. I don't give a shit about that. I want to help you learn how to make money and be independent and escape the wrath and tyranny that is our government. So that you can be a free and independent person, so that you can raise your kids the way that you really want to raise them and be financially independent. I think those things are more important than, I watched Mr. Beast give away 10 grand. He was in like the Walmart and he's like, here's $1,000. Would you like to randomly give 10,000? Oh, no, he says you can either take $1,000 for you, or you can randomly give away $10,000 to somebody in the store. And like most people, of course, choose the 1,000. They're like, oh, poor me. One guy chooses somebody else. And then, of course, Mr. Beast is like, you're so awesome. Here's 10 grand for you. And that's the biggest gimmick. I can't believe people fall for that dumb shit. And they go, well, it could happen to me. No, it can't. The odds of that happening, your odds are actually better winning the lottery than Mr. Beast approaching you in a fucking store. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a great weekend.